5 points. That's it. 5 tiny points standing between Arsenal and history. Right now, in March 2026, Arsenal sit at the top of the Premier League table. 5 points clear. Momentum building. Confidence rising. The Emirates buzzing every single week. But if you've supported Arsenal long enough, you know something very important. We've been here before. 3 seasons in a row, Arsenal finished second. 3 seasons of hope. 3 seasons of heartbreak. Every time we thought this was the year, something slipped. A late draw, an injury crisis, a moment of magic from Manchester City that crushed the dream. And who was always standing in the way? Pep Guardiola, the master of title run-ins, the man who knows exactly how to apply pressure when it matters most. So here's the question. Nobody wants to say out loud, is this finally Arsenal's year, or are we about to relive the same nightmare again? Let's slow this down and look at the reality. Arsenal 64 points from 28 games. Manchester City 59 points from 27 games. Yes, that's a 5-point gap, but City have a game in hand. If they win it, the gap shrinks to 2. 2 points. That's one mistake, one bad night, one injury at the wrong time. This isn't comfortable. This isn't safe. This is pressure. And pressure is where champions are made or broken. Now think back 12 months. Arsenal were brilliant at times. Beautiful football, dominant performances. But when things got tight, when legs got heavy, when the pressure became unbearable, the team blinked. This season feels different. Why? Because something changed in the summer. Manager Mikel Arteta didn't just buy players. He rebuilt the mentality. He rebuilt the depth. He rebuilt the belief. And Sunday's win against Chelsea proved that. It wasn't pretty. It wasn't perfect. But it was strong. A 2-1 win. Gritty, physical, mature. The kind of performance champions produce when beauty isn't available. That's growth. That's experience. That's evolution. But here's where things get serious. The title race doesn't really start until April because Arsenal still have to travel to the Etihad. And that game, that's not just another fixture, that's the season. If Arsenal win at the Etihad, they break City's spirit. They control their destiny, they step into history. If they lose, everything flips, momentum shifts, doubt creeps in. The ghosts return. So, the entire Premier League season may come down to one night in Manchester. Now ask yourself this, are Arsenal ready for that? Because City are wounded, they've lost key players. They've had injuries in defence and midfield. They're adjusting to life without some major names. But never ever underestimate Guardiola. He thrives in chaos. He finds solutions where others see problems. He turns pressure into fuel. That's why this moment is different from any other season. It's not just about points. It's about belief. It's about psychology. It's about whether this Arsenal team truly believes they deserve to win the league. And here's something that should excite you. This squad feels stronger mentally than any Arsenal side since 2004. They've suffered. They've learnt. They've grown up. Now the question is simple, can they finish? Stay with me, because the injury situation could decide everything. The injury crisis that could break the dream. Let's talk about the part nobody likes to discuss. Injuries, because title races aren't just about tactics. They're about survival. And Arsenal's injury list right now, it's uncomfortable. Martin Odegaard, the captain. The brain, the rhythm of the team. He went off holding his knee. When Odegaard struggles, Arsenal struggle. It's that simple. He doesn't just create chances, he controls tempo. He dictates pressure. He leads emotionally. If he misses key games, the balance shifts. Then there's Declan Rice, the engine, the shield in front of the defence, the player who covers space so others can attack freely. He came off too. Reports say it's precautionary, but this is March. Every game matters. There's no room for just in case. Kai Havertz has been managing a muscle issue. Ben White remains out. And one more major blow. Mikel Merino underwent foot surgery. Merino was massive in the first half of the season. Calm, intelligent, strong in duels. Losing him at this stage hurts. Now pause. If this was last season, fans would panic. But here's what makes 2026 different depth. Real depth. Arsenal didn't just sign squad players, they signed difference makers. Victor Gyökeres has transformed the attack. Physical, clinical, relentless. The number 9 Arsenal waited years for. Ibarrechi Eze brings magic in tight games. He can unlock low blocks. He can shoot from distance. He can carry responsibility. Martin Zubimendi has quietly become one of the most important players in the squad. His positioning, his passing, his intelligence, and don't forget the defensive wall. William Saliba and Gabriel Magalhaes remain arguably the best centre-back partnership in England. When they're fit, Arsenal are incredibly hard to break down. So yes, injuries are scary, but this time Arsenal have answers. City, meanwhile, are not perfect either. They've had defensive injuries, they're adapting without some key leaders from previous seasons, and that changes the balance of power. But here's the scary part. City don't need to be perfect. They just need Arsenal to blink. That's it. One draw at the wrong time. One defensive lapse. One missed penalty. And suddenly the entire narrative changes. This is why the next month matters more than anything. Because April isn't just about one game, it's about momentum heading into that game. If Arsenal arrive at the Etihad strong, confident and healthy, they can win. If they arrive tired, patched together and nervous, City will smell blood. And that's where the tactical battle becomes everything. Let's talk about that next. Arteta versus Guardiola, the tactical war. This isn't just Arsenal versus City. This is student versus master. Mikel Arteta learned under Pep Guardiola. He studied his methods, his philosophy, his positional play. But Arteta isn't a copy, he's evolved. At the Etihad, expect chess, not chaos. Arsenal won't rush. They won't press wildly. They'll sit in a mid-block, control space, and strike at the right moment. Gyökeres pressing from the front. Saka isolating defenders one-on-one. Midfield compact and disciplined. And here's the key. Without some of City's defensive stability, Arsenal's wide players could find space. Bukayo Saka, in particular, has become a big-game monster. He doesn't hide. He demands the ball. He thrives under pressure. If Arsenal get him into dangerous positions, City can be hurt. But City have weapons too. They always do. Guardiola will rotate carefully around Champions League fixtures. He'll manage energy levels. He'll control narrative. He's done this before, which makes this moment so fascinating. Arteta has learned from every failure. He's addressed weaknesses from previous campaigns. This is no longer a young, naive Arsenal side. This is a hardened team built for endurance. And that leads us to the final piece of the puzzle, psychology. Because in April and May, mentality decides everything. The weight of 2004 and the moment of truth. It's been over 2 decades since Arsenal last lifted the Premier League trophy. An entire generation of fans has grown up without seeing it. They've seen near misses, they've seen collapses, they've seen almost. This team knows that. They feel it. Every time they step onto the pitch at the Emirates, they're not just playing for 3 points. They're playing for history. They're playing to end the wait. That's powerful. But it's also heavy. This is where leaders step forward. Saliba organising the defence, Rice driving through midfield, Odegaard demanding calm. These moments separate good teams from champions. And here's the beautiful part. Arsenal don't need perfection. They need consistency. Roughly 7 wins and maybe a couple of draws from the remaining games could be enough depending on that Etihad clash. It's achievable, it's realistic, but it requires focus every single week. No slip-ups against smaller sides, no emotional hangovers from cup competitions, no mental fatigue. So here's the question for you. How many points do Arsenal need from here? Do they win at the Etihad? Does Arteta finally outmaneuver Guardiola when it matters most? Because one thing is certain. This is the closest Arsenal have been in years. 5 points, 10 games, 1 defining clash. The story is still being written. And if they finish the job, this won't just be a title. It will be redemption. It will be validation. It will be proof that growth, patience, and belief eventually pay off. So buckle up, because the next few weeks will define an era. And when the final whistle blows in May, we'll either remember this as the moment Arsenal rose, or the moment history slipped through their fingers again. Which side of history do you think they'll land on? Let me know.